Greetings. Today I want to talk to you about a situation we ran into when we were implementing Epicor in one of our facilities. This was back in the days of 905, 702, and what would happen is we had scrap and non-conformance on our jobs, keeping those jobs held open, which was causing jobs not to be created by MRP to get product available because it still was expecting those to complete. Projection yield recalculation can help with this too. The trigger is flagging the operation complete. And I'm going to go through the setup of this to show you how exactly you would get this to run. You begin in your site configuration control, and you would want to flag that adjust job quantities and production yield default. Now, this doesn't mean that everything's going to adjust your quantities left and right. It's all controlled by at the operation level, and this just enables this for system wide. Once you have the operation set up or the production yield available in your manufacturing site record, then you would study your methods and determine which ones you want to have production yield recalculation on. So in my case, what I'm going to look at in the test database is a part called MSS-sub. And again, this is a test part, but if I look at this, it looks like I'm assembling a sandwich, and then I go ahead and bake it, and then I go ahead and cut it. So in this case, that bake operation, let's say if maybe I burn some of them from the batch, well, then I really don't want to cut them. I'm just going to throw them away at that point. But I still need to know if I'm supposed to make 200 sandwiches. If I burned a tray of 25, I'm still going to need to make that quantity. So if I look at this bake operation and set it up, there are in that operation itself, you would check the box to recalculate the expected quantity. And then you want to give some type of yield. If you leave this at 0, it's never going to trigger. Epicor recommends to start this at a low quantity in case, say, an operator has a job for 1,000 and they type in 1 and they check complete. You don't want to adjust that job for 999 pieces, but 2% is a good starting point they recommend. And you can go ahead and you can change that as time goes and how it suits your situation. The other thing that you can do is you can create a shop warning when your production yield varies, and then it would show up in your shop warning tracker or in your shop tracker. Then what happens is once you do the job, you create a job for this MSS part number. So MSS sub, I'm going to just do a quick job entry. Next job, and just put my part number in here, and I'm going to put 200 on here, and we'll say that these are due tomorrow, or actually let's say Tuesday, and we're going to go ahead and engineer, release, and schedule this. So my job number is 2430, and now you could either go in through MES or time and expense entry. So I am going to go into just time entry. And you notice I am using the Kinetic 2024 screens. This is also available in classic screens. So I will add time to my job. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that I assembled everything okay. So there's my job number and my operation for the assemble and my labor quantity. On this case, I'm going to say 200, and I'm going to submit. And then I'm going to do another labor quantity for the bake in the oven. And in this case, I'm going to say that I made 150 of them, but I'm going to scrap 50 of them. And I'm actually going to flag this operation as complete. So I'm going to go into I'm going to submit it. Oh, I forgot to put my reason code in here. I'll just say a breakdown. And if I go into this actual entry for my second time detail, it is flagged complete because I was supposed to make 200. My labor quantity was 150 and my scrap is 50. So now when it gets to cutting, only 150 sandwiches are going to show up. Well, what we can do now on this job, if I refresh this job here and look at my assemblies, both my assemble and my bake operations are complete, but my required quantity is still at 200. There is a production yield recalculation process that you run that actually will update that. This can be scheduled. I typically do not recommend continuous processing. I more prefer to set up on the schedule so I know when it goes. So I believe I set up an hourly schedule. So that means once an hour, it's going to go out and look for any operations that are complete, that are checked as completing the production yield recalculation. And I am going to submit that. So that's going to run every hour, but I'm a little impatient. So I'm going to go ahead and just run it once now, not on hourly, but I just want to, for our demonstration, show you. So there, my process is submitted. There is a log file that is created in the company's directory with the other logs, so you can see exactly what happens. But if I go back to my job, you can see now that my required quantity is 150. So say I actually needed 400 sandwiches for Tuesday for an event, instead of creating two jobs of 200, I might see my next job coming in at 250 to make up for the 50 that I burned. So this is all something that can be done automatically out of the box. Again, I believe it was in at least 10.200 or 10.2, and it is also available in Kinetic. I hope you find this useful and a great way to automate some of those manual processes. Thank you.